On this episode of The Best, you take criticism to heart. We all do. We all get our days defined by criticism. But what do you do with praise? Ignore it or pay as much attention to that as you do to the criticism? Let's explore just exactly how your attitude is attuned to that on this episode of The Best. Some years ago, I was given a piece of feedback that stays with me. It was when we produced video. I use a lot of video for my keynote presentations, and they've got high production qualities to them, and they tell stories that are perhaps quite unusual. And it's what you see at the end is very polished, high value production, despite the people who are involved in making it. And when they see that, the audience has a very specific response. It's always a talking point at the end. And one of the pieces of feedback that I recall the most was when somebody came up to me and just said, "No one can do what you do, Martin." And what they meant was conveying a message, a specific message in a specific way to affect the audience. And I took that as a strong compliment, but it got me to thinking. I was thinking, no one can do what you do. How many of your clients would say that about you if you asked? Because in accountancy, we know that from compliance services, there's very little to differentiate us. And even if we wander into advisory, is there that much difference between one set of management accounts to another, or one cash flow forecast to another, or whatever? So what is it that separates you out? Because you've got grade A clients, haven't you? You've got grade A clients paying you a much higher average fee than the norm. So how did they get to that position? I'm going to put it to you that no one else can do what you do for them, in their eyes, in their way. And we need to know what that is. Not only do we need to know what that is, we need to know that that is how we're thought of, because we're affected so much by negative feedback. It affects our willingness to go out in front of people. Again, it affects our willingness to be proactive in many ways. Positive feedback, of course, has the opposite effect. And I'd like you to find much more positive feedback in your firm. I'd like you to celebrate your successes, because that's the very best way to bring the team, the partnership, the leadership, the management of the firm together, is to celebrate each other's successes and understand why you're recognized as being the one who can do what no one else can do. Now, if I was to ask you in person what that was, what that magic secret ingredient was, could you tell me? Could your clients tell me? I think you should find out, because I want you to have the best. And I want you to make sure that the message you put out to help business owners who need you is also the best. If you need any help with that, click the link below and we'll start the conversation. But until then, I will see you on the next episode. Bye for now.